What's up, everybody? Tyson Roush, Let's Talk Jets Radio. We will broadcast live tomorrow night, Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, which should be a ridiculously chaotic show. We want to thank everybody for watching our videos and subscribing on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. We definitely appreciate it. Sitting here the day after a epic loss, it's kind of like I still can't digest the fact that the New York Jets lost to the Miami Dolphins, and they sit at 1-7. But then you look at the state of the team, and you kind of see where it all starts and ends, and it's with zero accountability, zero leadership, zero direction for his organization, and it's at every level. I mean, it goes from top to bottom, bottom to top, and everywhere else. I mean, and it's pretty obvious. Just going from the ground level. Look at the players. I mean, first of all, if you look at this roster, can you name more than 5 players that improved from week 1 to week now, with 9, whatever it is, 8, 9? You say, okay, Kyle Phillips and Fotokasi, and maybe that's pretty much it. I mean, you look at a team that really nobody's improving. So, okay, now you say, okay, we have a bad team. You look at this bad team and say, are there guys that are underachieving or underperforming being benched? And other than Trumaine Johnson early on, there's nobody. I mean, these guys are just playing. Status quo is cool here at the Jets. There is no culture here where the biggest rap on Todd Bowles was he didn't bench veteran players. Who's getting benched here? The only time guys get benched on this team is if they get hurt. Like, there's nobody. I mean, you could blow assignments. You could do whatever you want wrong. Guess what? In for the next play. Nobody cares. No sense of accountability with the players. None. I mean, look at it's terrible. So you look at the coaching. The offensive line's been a mess forever. The Frank Pollock still keeps his job. No problem with the offensive line coach. Nobody being held accountable there. Blown assignments week in and week out that are getting your quarterback hit. No sense of urgency. Adam Gase today said he couldn't really identify where the problem was yesterday when Sam Darnold took a blindside, took a terrible sack. He couldn't figure it out. If you can't figure it out and the line coach can't figure it out, why do you think the players aren't going to figure it out either? So there's no accountability there. The coaches, who's holding these people accountable? Then you look at the general manager. The general manager, what is he doing? He doesn't, Adam Gase doesn't report to him, but how is the general manager being held accountable? He completely mishandled the Luke Falk situation. He mishandled the middle linebacker situation. He's mishandling things as well. He's like, how is this roster not like a revolving door until we find answers? I mean, mishandled the kicker situation. I mean, there's just everything is status quo, like everybody's cool. And then the ultimate lack of accountability is ownership. Ownership is clearly more worried about selling new uniforms and trying to make as much money as possible and does not care about winning or losing. Because how could you sit here and watch this and be cool with it? Like, you know what? I see my franchise quarterback completely regressing. I see the team quitting in week 7 and week 8. I see blowout losses every week. I see no direction. I see nothing, and I'm fine with it. No big deal. Hey, Sam Darnold your franchise quarterback, the only hope your team has is not playing well, is going backwards. He's looking like Mark Sanchez at times. You're fine with it. No changes. Line can't block. We're not going to fire anybody. We're fine. No changes. It's inexcusable. Like, if the Jets ownership, the problem starts with them. We were promised a new culture, new this. There is nothing. This is a rudderless ship going nowhere with so many more questions than answers. I mean, it's alarming how bad this is right now. And you're going to sit here and trot out the same stuff every week. Like, you're going to go into the Giant game with the same exact thing with nothing changed. 1-7, embarrassing yourself week in and week out, and no changes. I mean, hell, you have a player openly saying that I'm not going to talk to the coaches. I don't feel like it. I'm general manager. I'm not going to talk to you. Why wouldn't Joe Douglas say, you know what? I'm the boss. You're going to talk to me and go down there and confront him. Or Adam Gase say, you know, we're going to squash this right now. You're letting the inmates from the asylum, for Christ's sakes. You know, the players say, no, I don't feel like talking to you. You know what? You're going to talk to me because you're our employee. You're our player. There is no sense of leadership. There's nothing here. This is a completely dysfunctional mess. It starts with ownership. If ownership doesn't demand more out of the general manager and coach, they're not going to give you any more. They're going to think what they're doing is okay. If the coach and general manager doesn't demand more from the players, they're going to get away with everything they can because guess what? Your season's over and they know it and they're going to mail it in. If they don't have to give you max effort and not getting benched, they're going to do that. They're going to collect their checks. From top to bottom, this is a mess. And the fact that today, after a monumental, epic loss, an embarrassing loss, which I guess wasn't embarrassing for Adam Gase because this is part of the game, an embarrassing loss on every level, and the next day it's just, yeah, I'm not really sure what happened. I'm not sure. Hey, you know, we're gonna figure it out. Somebody should go back to the Rich Coe type press conferences and go quote for quote with Adam Gase right now. I guarantee you there's a ridiculous amount of similarities. And if Adam Gase' approach is to brainwash his players and have Sam Darnold say, this is the best coach I've ever been around, and I'm seeing things well. If you're going to start making these guys talk the company line to protect your ass, that's embarrassing. Because everybody other than Chris Johnson can see through this. And the fact that the team is willing to go down this route and be content with losing and accept losing, and the red flag was there when Luke Falk was playing and the team was willing to let Luke Falk play and let this team lose and embarrass themselves, that was already a red flag. That was already a red flag for this. So this is it. This is our Jets culture. Our new culture is they're accepting losing, they're content with it, and they're not going to make any changes. They're happy with this. Because as long as fans keep spending money and buying these uniforms and everything else, they really don't care. And they're not going to change. They're willing to let their franchise quarterback die a slow death on this field, and nobody cares. What a damn shame that is. What a reflection it is on Chris Johnson, Joe Douglas, and Adam Gase. Take flight.